Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Excited to have Amy May here live on the podcast and the Zoomcast. Excited to work with her here, based out of Orlando, Florida. And you can work with her too. Workwithamymay.com. Love her website. She's a life coach that really specializes in helping humans, gaining more of that confidence in any area of life, rediscovering yourself. I mean, she's here to help. Welcome. How are you? Oh, now she's sipping water.
I am amazing.
And hydrated. Good to see you.
I'm working on it. You know, down here in sunny Florida, it is warm. Okay. So you got to keep the water going.
Of course. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, excited to please introduce yourself to our listeners today.
Okay. Well, hey, I am Amy May. And as Jill was saying, which by the way, happy belated birthday, Jill.
Oh,
so
thank
anybody
you.
Anybody that stalks her and sees the fun pictures of what she was doing with family, that's like really
it's
cool,
just
right?
always me and my kids. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I did see.
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
write like, no one has to watch this as my kids. Thank you. Thank you.
It looks like you guys had fun. But so you guys see me here. This is my coach that we live in. So my husband and I live down in the Orlando area. And as Jill was saying, workwithamymay.com, that's my website. And I work with people individually. I work in groups, do life coaching, and just like to connect with people and help them to figure out, where they're at and where they're going on, this path of life and how to overcome some of the really challenging things and the rough days.
Oh, I know.
So,
Well, let me ask you this. It's
yeah.
important, since it's our first Zoom and all too as well, to find out what brought you here. I think that's important for our listeners to get to know you if they're going to be working with you. How did you get involved in life coaching? Would you mind sharing a little bit of your backstory, which of course brings us to where you are today?
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So I was always that person that you want to have in your corner. I was always that friend that you could come to, you could ask for advice. I wasn't going to judge. I could look at things and sometimes see them maybe see some answers that you didn't see, maybe see, some solutions to some problems. And so this is kind of what I did all my life. Never realized that there was a career in this, right? Time goes on and I had kind of lost myself, my own identity in being a caretaker. Everything that I did, I started finding that my whole entire life was focused on everyone else's needs first before mine. And it wasn't until I was my daughter and I had started a blog and I'd wanted to monetize the blog. So I didn't know a lot about that, but I'd understood that affiliate marketing, that you could do that and be able to monetize yourself. So I'm like, let me learn it, something new. So I tried college while my mom was living with us. I was taking care of her on the Alzheimer's adventure. And I went online and did some online schooling. And what happened during that time was because of needing to be with her in the hospital, things like that, I didn't have the ability to really focus on my school at different times. And it was a challenge. But I'd gone in doing school because I was afraid of, how you talk about like the people that you hang around with, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around with. Well, here I was being at home the whole time with someone who's on an Alzheimer's adventure. So that's like totally the outlier, right? For what's happening, with me in my life. And so that's why I'd started the college. So I'm in with her one of the last times that we had a big hospital stay. And I was in statistics at the same time. And so I'm failing statistics, right?
Yeah.
And I come home, I'm already mad. Like, I am not paying for a class that I'm going to fail. I didn't love statistics. And I certainly wasn't going to pay for it twice, to get this degree that so far wasn't even getting me the answers of what I wanted. So that being said, I'm a very determined person. And that's one of the things I share with my clients that I work with is determination and discipline can change everything. You can change your whole story by just committing yourself to it. I came home, had my husband. I said, please keep her for the weekend, and so he did. I locked myself away. And y'all, I went from failing statistics to a B plus.
Wow.
At which point I was proud of myself, felt like things were good. And I quit college because I had not learned so far what it was that I was looking for. And I was getting myself further into debt and wasn't getting the results that I was looking for. So it's okay to change a path. You know what I mean? It is okay to choose something, to start in that direction, to find out that it doesn't fit and to change that path. So how did that get me to life coaching? Well, first of all, that gave me some more belief in myself. Like, look at this, I can do it. So then I happened to come across just one of those little ads, that you click on. And it was about being able to pretty much network market. So I'm like, well, you know what? This is only like $39. I'm going to try this instead. So I jumped in, tried it. It ended up being an education platform. When I got involved in there learning about affiliate marketing, the thing that happened, the path that I did not see coming, was everyone that I was associating with was like, oh, you're a life coach, because of how I was encouraging and helping them. I'm like, no, I don't even know what a life coach is. I'm not a life coach,
Yeah.
And so then, as they keep saying it, I finally decide to look into it. I get into Transformation Academy and, went through the life coaching program. And I'm like, holy cow, I'm a life coach.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of how it started. Got my certificate. And then from there, just began working with people and sharing and helping. And the big thing for me is it really feeds me because I love to see others win. So by being able to connect with them and work with them on their story, I'm then able to see their win, which, is a win for me. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're excited that you're here and all the work you're
Thank
doing.
you.
How did you want to break it down for today? Do you want to kind of start off with, the type of work that you can do to help people and talk about the benefits of it?
Sure, exactly. So, one of the things that I do is helping people to gain more confidence. When you come across, I mean, your demeanor, how you step out, this is what people see. So, if you come in and you're, kind of reserved and back away and nervous, people see that and they pick up on it. If you come in with more confidence, you're going to be able to gain more of the success that you're looking more of what you want to do, right? Another thing that I do is help to rediscover themselves by digging into their true identity, which today I do want to talk a little bit on the identity crisis that we're dealing with and stuff. So we will jump into that as well. Developing a mindset of who they want to be. That dives into a little bit of going into a success character and figuring out, who our success character that we want to be is. And we'll dive into some more of that. The other thing I help them do is learning life skills for navigating the daily grind. And I feel that a lot of times this world is so fast paced. There's so many things going on, and we're automatically expected as we come out and be an adult, we are automatically expected to know how to handle all of this. And there is so much adulting that's out there and so many things that the skills just aren't taught. I mean, as far as I know, they're still not even teaching how to balance, your accounts in school. It's like you're just thrown out. You're supposed to know how to do this. And all of a sudden, you're drowning. So that's one of the things, I like to do is to be able to help people look at just the daily life things and figure out how to get the most out of their life with having less stress. So, and then,
Yes.
I also work with people getting them to fall in love with personal development and growth. So, that's another one that I do. So, the identity. So I feel like people don't realize how you bring yourself out, how you behave, how you act is what causes others to treat you the way that they do. So, say, for example, that people never expect you to be on time. They always treat you, oh, yeah, they're not going to be there. They're not going to be on time. Why is that? Oftentimes, the reason that they treat us that way is because that's what our patterns have been. And so I work with people to notice, so what are the things you're having problems with? Well, they say I talk too much, or they, I don't, and nobody respects me. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to talk to me. I join something new. I come someplace new and no one talks to me. Well, we dive into why does no one talk to you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sometimes it's because of the front that you're bringing up. So,
Ah. Well, you mentioned stress, you mentioned anxiety, and that's something I think we're all overwhelmed with, especially since the pandemic. There's a lot of angst and anxiety and all of that. And, Amy,
uh-huh.
more people, it's affecting their daily lives, how they're raising their families, their jobs. There's just, how do you help someone with the stress? I'm like one of the most stressful, uptight people I know. I have two kids, I work a
Oh.
lot, and I'm always anxious, always on the go. Is there any tips or advice for someone to start relaxing, start calming down? And I always have projects and I'm scattered-brained. It's like I need to learn to breathe.
I understand that one. Okay, so the first thing, Jill, is actually to breathe. And that sounds ridiculous. It's like, but I need to learn, and I understand that. But if we can stop in our moment and take that breath. The other thing is looking at what are the things that are stressing you the most, and what can you maybe put into blocks or chunks so that you're not as distracted. I literally was just working with a counselor or coach that I work with, and it was pointed out to me, how do you use your Google Calendar? Well, of course I use my Google Calendar. Like, look at this. There's stuff everywhere on it. And he's like, no, no, no. What I mean is, do you chunk off times to work on the specific things that are important to you? Even things like meditation and breathing and taking time for yourself, like the dates with yourself, those kind of things. Do you chunk that off? And I'm like, well, no, I fit that in.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay. And that's what so many of us do. We fit that in. Well, how does that work today? If you have an emergency with your child, you have a, meeting, a high level meeting that you've got at work, you forgot to lay something out for dinner, what I mean? All these different things. Where are you going to fit that in?
Yeah.
That 2 minutes when you run to the bathroom and the kids are hollering, Mom, Mom, it's like, it doesn't happen that way. You actually have to plan it out. And what happens when you dedicate some time for yourself, you actually are telling yourself, I'm worthy, I'm valuable, I'm important. You're also giving yourself that relief. Because Jill, if you're looking at something and you have a deadline, do you know that, oh, thank God it's going to be done on that day and I'm going to be able to breathe that next day, right? Because you have this huge deadline that's looming and you're stressing to get there. But afterwards, because there's a date that you're going to be able to breathe after that. Most of us then turn around and shove something else in there so we don't take that time to breathe afterwards. We have the next big task.
Yeah.
But at least our mind sees that there is a deadline to it. When you're running every day and all the stress, everything that you have going on, and you're not telling yourself, hey, there's this time that you can take and commit to yourself and that we've set that aside for you. If you're not telling yourself that, if you don't see that there, you are living on that fight or flight constant. And that's why you feel so stressed. That's why you feel so overwhelmed. Another thing is setting boundaries, because you feel stressed about everything that's going on. But are you setting boundaries to help to back some of that off? For example, do you say no sometimes to take time for yourself and your family, to step away from something? All of us think just because we're available 24/7 on those phones, that must mean that we're available 24/7 on those phones.
True. Yeah.
We've gotten to the point, Jill, that we spoil everyone but ourselves. Because everyone else is going to get an answer right away. If they text, you must respond right away. And you feel like if you don't,
obligation. Yeah.
Yeah. You feel obligated to it. And you feel like if you don't, you're going to lose that spot. You're going to lose that favor. You're going to lose whatever. The thing is, remember me talking about the confidence. If you come in with a great attitude and a confidence and, hey, good morning. Yeah, I don't respond to calls after 7:00 at night. I don't respond to calls after 8:00 at night. People are beginning to understand, oh, wow, that's impressive. That's, instead of it being like, well, why didn't you get back with me? If they're blowing your phone up, it better be an emergency.
Yeah.
So.
Well, also, Amy, let's remind everyone how they can reach out to you. Tell us your best forms of contact.
Sure. So again, it's workwithamymay.com. And then my phone number is 407-258-2885. And if you wanted to send an email, you can do that. The email is info@workwithamymay.com. And you could do that as well. On my website, there is the simple buttons to be able to join my Facebook group, which is Legendary Living on Purpose. It's a Facebook group that I spend a little bit of time in and be able to, work with different people in there. And then, there's also the button for being able to contact. So if you didn't catch that email, just go ahead and go to the website.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I mean, clearly, as a life
Sure.
coach, they're also offering courses. You're working one on one with people, but again, that exclusive Facebook group, we always got to point out that Amy May has. It's always a good idea to join that. And can anyone just join that page?
Yes, yes. Anyone who's looking at wanting to do, something more in their life to, be able to live legendary on purpose, to be intentional about what they're living, that's what we're looking for. It is a private group, so there will be some questions that you need to answer there. And of course, don't forget to answer those questions about being kind and, not spammy and all those kind of things, because I think that's important. If somebody's in there and they start bullying, because all humans are welcome. I'm an
Yeah.
ally, and I feel that everybody should be able to be in and be welcome. And so if we get any kind of bullying going on, or someone who's just in there for self promotion, trying to, get people to buy things or whatever, they're out.
Got it.
So,
All right, Amy,
yeah.
what else did you want to
Yeah.
share with your listeners today?
Okay. So, when I was talking a little bit about the identity crisis, I want to talk to you guys kind of about, who do you think that you are? I
Yeah.
work with a number of different people, and I know, for example, one young man that I had when we were discussing things, just getting kind of started with him, he would tell me, that, oh, I fully believe in myself, and I'm strong on this, and I'm, always confident, and I come in and whatever. But as we got talking, and as I was watching the behavior, and we got diving into a little bit, people around him
Mm-hmm.
didn't treat him that way.
Yeah.
And so what we found is his mindset was that this is what he was portraying, but it wasn't actually the walk that he was walking.
True.
And so some of the things
True.
that, we started doing was implementing, paying attention to what you're putting out there. Because the thing that we find is, it's
Mm-hmm.
not just how other people treat us, but it also becomes a situation of how we treat ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we can say anything in our head. I mean, affirmations are great. I can
Yeah.
sit right here. I'm strong. I'm wonderful. I'm, all these things. But if we're not attaching actual steps to get ourselves to understand that we really are those things, to increase that belief, to begin changing the little steps, the little things in our life that need to change, it's only words. Affirmations are only words if we're not putting belief behind them, and if we're not putting actual steps
Yep.
that go along with it. So, so that's one of the things. Another thing is, who is your success character? Who is the person you want to be for your future? If most people plan so much more time on planning out a vacation than they do on what their future looks like.
Yeah.
You end up here and you're like, how the heck did I get here? Like, this wasn't what I planned, but you didn't plan. And that's where it comes into. So I like to work with people and help them figure out who their success character is, what they see themselves in their future. And then we start taking steps to guide them along that way so that they're able to get there. I was working with a young human that dealt with some different things. They had some mental health labels that had been slapped on them, and they had this mindset to be able to be the person that they wanted to be, that there was specific rules and parameters, and if they didn't do this, it wasn't going to accomplish that. And
Yeah.
so what we found is burnout, because you can't, like, put yourself in a situation where you're trying to, drink from a fire hose
Yeah.
to make all these changes in your life and have all of this going on, and never take time for yourself. And so what they found was, if they stopped what they were doing, what they were trying to, create and handle and do, they owned their own business. And so, things that they were doing there and in their office and all that, if they took a break for a minute, and it was the weirdest thing, but for whatever reason, this is what really worked, is to literally go into either their room, like their bedroom, or in their
Yeah.
office, and completely change it around,
Yeah.
move stuff, like move the furniture, redo the files, all of this kind of work. While
Yeah.
they were doing that, they would go back and forth between listening to like Gary Vee and Tony Robbins, and just really upbeat stuff, Jeff Lerner, listening to these different people that are out there with all this positive information, right? And they would have that jamming while they're doing all of this work. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the next time that we met, their energy level was incredible,
Wow.
because they'd taken that time and just did what they needed to feel more in control. I think honestly is a lot of what it does. Because Jill, I would imagine, like you said, you deal with a lot of the anxiety and stress. Are there a lot of times you feel like your life is just kind of spinning out of control and you just feel like you're just a part of it? You're being dragged along by the current?
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
I always, look, I got two kids. They're 6 and 8. A lot of people can relate as parents. And I just feel like every day I'm just dragged through the mud. It's like a cycle. We wake up, we do the breakfast, I run to work, I come home, I do the homework, we go into the sports. It's just never ending. And I'm just like, I'm like a hamster on that wheel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And I'm
Yeah.
so tired and exhausted. And I have post-it notes everywhere of the stuff I want to do and check off. And I never get things done because I'm always on that wheel. And
Right.
as a single mother, and I hate saying that word single mother, but my kids live with me full time. It's not like they go somewhere over the weekend. It's like, what do you do? How do you get yourself off that wheel? So I'm going to tell you one little suggestion because I did learn something recently. I'm like, I
Yes.
have to make this
Yes.
stop. It's driving me crazy. I had to commit to start waking up before my kids. I wasn't doing that. And that's giving me some of that me time, that 5 minutes of meditation in my bed by
Yes.
just relaxing, calming, peaceful, by getting up, even if it's a half hour, some days an hour, but mostly a half hour earlier. That's my solution to helping me get off that hamster wheel. So I'm sorry, I'm on a
Oh, good
you know,
job.
but
No,
right,
no, I
yeah.
think that's amazing. And I am so
Mhm.
proud of you for that because,
Thank you.
some people, well, honey, some people will hear that, but they don't
Yeah.
apply it and they don't realize.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
let me ask you, Jill, do you
Sure.
feel more exhausted by giving up that little bit of time, or do you feel the same, or maybe even feel a little
I
better
feel better.
on your tiredness?
Less sleep. I'm
Isn't that
feeling better.
incredible?
It's the
Isn't that
mindset, right? And
insane?
it's all
It
about the
is.
mindset.
It is. It
Yep.
is. It is. Yep. Now, here's the other thing, Jill, I want you to know you can give yourself permission
Okay.
to outsource.
Okay.
Okay. That's hard, right?
Yeah,
Because
it's so hard.
you're the
Yeah.
leader of your family, you're responsible, you should be able to do all these things. You
Mm-hmm.
were brought up with this mindset that
That
we
I
should be able
have
to
to
handle
do it all.
everything.
Everything. Yep. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
No, no, no. You
Mm,
know what? Here's the deal. If you outsource something, whether it's taking your laundry and dropping it off for the laundry place to do all the laundry and fold it, and you pick it back up all nice and clean, there's nothing wrong with that. But do you realize that if you did that and you're grateful when you pick it up from them, or even when you drop it off and you're like, oh, thank God for you guys doing this. I love your service. Thank you so much for taking care of it. Do you know you have given kindness to someone? You have made someone feel respected for their
yeah.
job because they're there washing your laundry because they're not the incredible host that you are. Okay.
Yep.
So they're doing
Exactly.
their job and you're helping with the economy because you're paying somebody else to do it. There is nothing wrong with it. Our world has gotten to a point, again, because of the amazing technology that we have. Crap, without it, you and I wouldn't be on here doing this, right? But because we've done that, we've completely changed our what we're not just capable of, but what we're available for. And that's where we have to take in some of that. There is nothing wrong with getting food delivered. There's nothing wrong with jumping on and doing Instacart or Shipt or wherever you live in the country, getting your groceries delivered. And I get a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't have somebody else do it. Well, you know what? If you do it at least for the majority of your stuff, that still saves you time. Even if you go to
Yeah.
the farmer's market to pick up your stuff, so and learn how to say no. The kids
Yeah.
don't have to be involved in everything. We
Yeah.
are taught so much as parents that if we don't
Yeah.
let our kids be involved in every
Uh-huh.
freaking thing, that we're bad.
I know. I
No,
know. I know the
no,
guilt trip. Yep. Yep.
yeah, yep,
Ah.
yep, yeah,
Amy,
yeah,
great
no,
talking to you. For reminding us that it's we can't be superheroes. It's gonna wear us out. It's just gonna harm us in the
yeah,
long run. It is. But we just have 2 minutes left in the
yeah.
show, so I want to ask before we go, what else did you want to share, and how did you want to sum up for today?
Okay, so I guess the one thing that I've got for you is a little quote. You can change your future by changing who you are a little each day. Daily habits are building blocks of change. Okay. So, where we talked about, Jill, like you starting this getting up earlier, saying no, looking at what you can outsource, all those kind of
Yeah.
things. those are little steps. If you start taking them every day, this exhaustion, this overwhelm, this stress that you're feeling today isn't going to be there later if you start implementing those changes now. And so that's just a reminder. Anything, that you're doing is you're working on yourself. It might seem like a small step, but every step that you take, if you keep taking it, that's going to get you where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I would love to have you guys jump in the Facebook group, get onto my website, contact me, let's talk. I do a free session, my first session, where we meet up and talk and everything. That is a free one. Check it out. Find out if we're a fit. See if we can plan something out for you. And you can get a hold of me at workwithamymay.com.
We love it. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. You got amazing energy and clearly an amazing gift. Thank you again. Workwithamymay.com. Looking forward to our next conversation, and great seeing you here face to face on the Zoomcast as well. Always a pleasure.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.